Ready to make a double layer beanie hat using your Sentro circular knitting machine? I show step by step in this tutorial how I like to make them. First thing you're going to need, of course, is your Sentro circular knitting machine. I am using the 48 needle, so I can make an adult size beanie hat. You also want to have it in tube mode, which is on the side of the machine. It says T for tube, and there's P as in Paul, and that stands for panel. So you want to make sure it's on your tube mode. Next, the yarn. I am using the Big Twist Value brand yarn, and this is a number 4 worsted weight yarn. Now, because this is a thicker number 4 worsted weight yarn, I do find when I'm using this, it has less stretch to the beanie hat once it's made. At the end of the video, I'll talk a little bit about sizing and other yarns to use. To start making our beanie hat, first we need to cast on. I take the tail end of my yarn and I make it about the length of my machine. I like to start my rows at my white 48 needle, and we want to hook it under the needle. So you want your yarn to go up and under the needle so it hooks onto it, like this. So starting at my white needle, I hook it under, and that's to start my cast on. And then with my right hand, as I crank forward with the crank handle, on the next needle, which is now my number 1 needle, we're going to go behind it. Now, when you're casting on, you don't want it really tight. That's going to bind up your machine and it's not going to want to make the stitches, and you don't want it overly loose too. You just kind of want it touching the back and front sides of your needle. The second needle, the number 2 needle, you're going to go under so it hooks, and then over, and then under so it hooks again, on the back side, under the front so it hooks the needle, on the back and front, back and front. And we're going to do this all the way around one time till we get back to our white needle. Now you can also start at your number 1 needle, but I like the visual of the white needle, which is labeled as the 48th needle. That's the needle I like to start and stop my rows with. As you start to crank your rows, if you find your machine is grinding or popping or it's dropping a ton of stitches, it could be that you have too thick of a yarn. So once we get back to our white needle, we're going to stop at the 47th needle and we want to put it in our yarn holder. Before we start to crank out your rows, check your machine. This is how your yarn should look for your cast on. It's under and over every other needle like this. And so if you get any yarn that's going over 3 needles or it's tucked under 2 needles, you want to redo your cast on because you are going to get drop stitches. Your cast on is the foundation to your project, and it's like a foundation chain if you crochet, and this is what all the knit stitches lock into place to. So without this, you either won't be able to create the stitches or they're going to drop. So before we go to crank our first row, I want to talk a little bit about our yarn holder. You also want to check that these big pegs here, if any yarn is stuck on top of them, you want them underneath the pegs. You can also get drop stitches if they're on top of these pegs when you go to crank your rows. So I stopped this row at my 47th needle because my 48th needle is where I started. So I don't want to put the yarn underneath my 48th needle yet. First, it needs to go into the yarn holder. And you want the yarn to go from the front all the way to the back. And it kind of looks like a little tongue sticking out. If your yarn looks like this and is not all the way down into the front, the needles are not going to catch the yarn and you will also get drop stitches. So have it completely seated down to the front, all the way to the back, and then we're going to put it in the yarn tensioner. There are 3 holes. I usually like the middle hole for the number, a medium weight yarn like this. And then I like to put my yarn in a bowl on the floor in front of my machine. So now we're going to start cranking out our rows. For an adult beanie hat, as I crank forward, I like to do 120 rows. But you will notice with my left hand, I am not just relying on the tension holder, I'm using my left hand for tension. The tension holder I really just use as a guide for the yarn, and between my thumb and my pointer finger, I'm not holding it tightly down, I'm just giving it slight tension on the yarn. As we crank out rows, the yarn skein itself is going to have less and less yarn, so it's going to be creating less and less tension. So I use my left hand to compensate for that tension. This helps keep my stitches even, and also as an added benefit, if there's ever a knot that comes up in the yarn, I'm able to feel it and untie it before I crank out any more rows. Same if you get a factory knot, you're going to want to take that knot out and before you crank more rows, and I have a whole video tutorial that I have linked in the video description below on what to do with factory knots. The other thing is, as you're cranking your rows, you can get some arm or shoulder fatigue, so I also recommend taking breaks and also stretching. But you can also turn your machine this way so the crank handle's facing towards you and line it up with your shoulder. I'm still using my left hand for my tension, but this helps make it a little bit more ergonomic, so this might be able to help you too if you kind of get some of that repetitive motion fatigue. One last thing with drop stitches, it could be that you need a little bit more tension with the yarn, so you can try holding it slightly firmer with your left hand. And the other thing is, one of my followers said that when her machine rocked a ton, she would get drop stitches, so making sure it's fully secured down to whatever table you're using. I have a video linked also in the video description below on what I do to keep my Sentro knitting machine secured down to my countertop. And lastly on yarn is there's sometimes the machine just does not like the yarn and I can't use it on my Sentro knitting machine. The usual culprit is that the yarn is too big, so it either will drop the stitches or it will start popping and grinding, and if that's the case, I stop and I remove it from my machine so I do not break the machine. I was just doing a little bit of a stretch and we're almost done to our 120 rows. I think it ended up being 121 rows. Now we're ready to cast off. So my machine is facing me again, and I have my scissors and this darning needle, or it's called a large eye plastic needle. I'm going to take the tail end of my project yarn, and I want it at least the length of my machine. You can also do the circumference of your machine, but the length is at least what you need. If you don't have enough yarn, you can always tie some scrap yarn or raced yarn to the end of the tail that you do have to lengthen it, because since our fabric is on the machine, it pulls it tight, so we need enough yarn to be able to cast it off. I put the tail end of the yarn on my needle, remove the yarn from the yarn holder, and I stop my yarn at the 47th needle because the white needle is my 48th, and that's where I'm going to start picking up my stitches to cast off, because I always end at the 47th needle and the beginning of the next row would be at my 48th needle. So the stitch is locked into the place with the tail end of my yarn at the 47th needle. Now I'm going to crank forward just slightly so my white needle drops below these two pegs. And there's this little loop of yarn around these two tiny pegs. That's the loop we're going to pick up. So we take the needle in between those two pegs and put that loop of yarn onto your needle and onto the tail end of your yarn. And now it's secured in place, and that yarn and that stitch cannot drop. Now we're going to go to our next needle. When we crank it forward, the needle will drop down, and then I pick up the stitch with my needle. Now I don't want to pull too hard because I don't want to accidentally pull off any of the other stitches, because it could come off the needle and drop as well. That's also why I like to pick up the stitches on the right side of my machine before I crank it around again. Some will crank it one time around and pick it up on the left side. And then these are all live stitches, and if they come off these pegs, you'll get a drop stitch and have to fix those as well. So I find that it saves me time in the end, picking them up one by one on the right side of my machine. And it just helps me secure my stitches a little bit easier without them hopefully dropping too much. So we're going to continue to pick up each stitch onto our needle and the tail end of our yarn. As we go around, this tail end of the yarn is going to get shorter and shorter, so you might have to kind of cinch up your project a little bit to give you enough yarn. So that is why sometimes people will do the whole circumference of their machine for picking up their stitches and casting off. But if you only have the length of your machine, or if it's even shorter, if you kind of ran out of yarn, you can always try to cinch it up a little bit as you start to cast off and crank around. And again, you can always add a little bit of scrap yarn to the end of your cast off, because once we cinch down our beanie hat, we're going to have a lot of yarn left over. We just need most of this yarn just for the cast off, because the fabric is stretched around the machine. So I'm going to speed this up, but once you get used to casting off, you'll kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm of casting off. I like to use my left hand to take the stitches off with the needle, and then use my right hand to crank forward. Now that the project is off the machine, we can move the machine out of the way and we can finish making our double layer beanie hat. So here's our fabric. Now you can give it a little bit of a stretch, and we're going to see the knit stitches. And this is the exterior of our project. The inside, this is the part you see when it was on the machine. This is the purl side, and that's the inside or the wrong side of the project. And then this outside, which looks like little V stitches, these are the knit stitches. This is considered the exterior. The Sentro knitting machine makes what's called a stockinette stitch if you are a hand knitter. So it's all purl on one side and all knit stitches on the other side. So now we have our tube right side or knit side out, and we're going to stick our hand through the tube. Pull the one side of the tube towards the other side of the tube to make 2 layers. Now that your tube is now in half, we have 2 layers for our double layer beanie hat, and just take a second to line them up so it's not twisted. Now here's the 2 sides of our tube. This is going to be the top of our beanie hat, and this side down here is going to be the bottom or the brim of our beanie hat. So now the fun part, and we're almost done, is we're going to cinch up the open sides of our tubes. You can do this all at once, but I'll show you each one separately. Take the tail end of the inner tube and pull the tail to cinch it closed like a drawstring. Some of the stitches will kind of curl in, so you'll just want to kind of fiddle with them a little bit to kind of straighten them out until it closes shut. Next, we're going to take the outer tube, find the tail end of our yarn, and do the same thing. We're going to pull the tail so we can cinch it closed, just like a drawstring. As you can see, the ends kind of curl, so you just want to kind of take your time in uncurling them and kind of straightening out the stitches so they come together nice and neatly. So I zoomed in a little bit here so you can see this, how it kind of curls up and out. You just kind of want to fold it back in so all the stitches are nice and neat side by side in a row, and then keep cinching down closed. Once you have it closed all the way, and just be careful too, if you have a delicate yarn, you could bust your yarn doing this, so you don't want to pull too tight. Now that we have them cinched closed, we have both the tails out at one end, and then at this point I just like to knot them together to secure everything into place. So I do a couple of knots, again not trying to pull too tightly down as to not bust the yarn while doing this. Once I have it knotted down, the next thing we're going to do is you can decide what side you'd like to be the outside of your beanie and what side you want to be the inside of your beanie. They usually look identical, but there could be one that you like better than the other for your exterior. And now I'll take the tail ends of my yarn here and I'm going to even them up. I'm just going to cut them because one's a little bit longer than the other. So I'm going to cut them so they're the same length. And now what we want to do is we want to sew close the top of our hat. And this was a trick my grandma taught me. I'm going to put it on my darning needle here. This is that large eye plastic needle that I have. And we are just going to sew back and forth where we cinched it closed. So I'm going to put both pieces of yarn to the inside. And the reason why I sew this hole closed, you could have it closed really tightly and knot it down, but over time, as you wear the beanie hat and you wash it and everything, that hole can open up on you because the fabric can kind of stretch on you. So we take our needle and we just sew back and forth a few times, and this is just going to keep everything secure, and so none of the stitches fall out or unravel. And I'm going to speed this up by just sew back and forth maybe 5 or 6 times through the top of my beanie hat, and then I stick the needle through the center and I flip it inside out again, and I do the same thing on the other side so both ends are closed up together. And then I try to every now and then make sure I catch both layers of the top and bottom part of the beanie hat. Once I've secured it down multiple times on both sides, then I take both tail ends and I knot them down one more time just to make sure everything is secure. And I do about 3 or 4 knots here. Once I have it all knotted, then we're just going to take these tail ends and I weave them in just a couple of times. And this is again just sewing it back and forth a few times. And then to hide the tail ends, I put them in between the 2 layers of our beanie hat, stick it down kind of in the center of your beanie, and then come out one side of it. And so it's in between the 2 layers so you can't see it on the other side. Pull the tail ends tight and cut it, and then those tails will hide up in there between the 2 layers. And that's it, guys. Your beanie hat is complete. If you would like, you could do a little brim on it as well. And here's how it looks on me. For sizing, this was 120 rows, and I have a 21.5 inch head circumference. And so I get a little bit of brim that I'm able to fold up. Here it is on my husband. He has a 24 inch head circumference. So this beanie is kind of tight on him. It does fit, but he's not able to have a brim, so you can see how much those stitches have to stretch. So for someone with a larger head circumference, there's this beanie hat that I made for him. I did about 135 rows, I believe. So the tube's longer, so he's able to get more stretch that way. And this was also a number 3 DK weighted yarn. So I really hope you enjoyed this video on how to make a double layer beanie hat. Don't forget to hit that like and follow button. I appreciate you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for all the likes, the follows, and all of the comments. I love reading all of your comments. Thank you guys so much, and happy crafting, everyone.